Hello. I owe you guys a stream today. It's Monday, so I owe you a stream. But we're wrapping up the playtest, and I didn't want to. I figured I'd just stream now instead of, later. I'm tired. This last week has thrown off my sleep schedule a little bit. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm tired and did not want to be doing this from like 8 to 11 tonight. So we'll see. I know it's super early for people that aren't watching the VOD, but that's the benefit of watching the VOD. So good job. Hey, Dark Inside, what's up, bud? I'm just reading OC right now in Night Harbor. People mostly being nice to us, which is nice. Hey, Vulork, good morning. Happy Monday. I like it when people are nice to us. I'm not going to lie about that. I don't necessarily care if you're nice to me personally. I'm going to be honest with you. No offense. But it is nice when you're nice to the team and to the project and stuff. People are like, oh, is that just an echo chamber? Maybe. Could be. The question is, can we get a big enough echo chamber to sustain the rest of our development to 1.0? That's the question. So I guess echo chambers are bad if it keeps you from getting to a sustainable point. But an echo chamber that is sustainably large, that's just called, I don't know, an enjoyable customer base. Echo chamber warners' heads are exploding out there. And Asmina? I might not have said that right, but thank you for the shout out to your people. Hey, Candyman, Algnosis, SSA Blue Knight, Banana Corn, Javasteen, MMO Pug, Seth Rock, Gulo Gaming, Coot HJ, Classic EverQuest, Quish, Stinkhun, and Ixar, spelled the fun way. Flying Killer TV, hello. Agnosis said, hey yo, made it to level 20 on this. Okay, been fun on this play. Okay equals play. All right, I was like, I don't know, man. We got some English as a second language out here. It happens. English is about to be my second language. I'm forgetting my English. Another great playtest. Hey, thanks, Blue Knight. How's the alpha test been going? The closed alpha has been going good. Always getting a lot of good feedback and stuff, though sometimes those people need to chill and stop picking on each other. If you're out there, you know who you are. The open alpha playtest was really good. Really good. Very good. We got good data, but like overall, man, I'm gonna say it a few times this stream. Massive kudos to the tech guys. Super stable. I understand you guys, depending on when you played or whatever. You know, you might have run into some lag, especially on the first night when you're in Night Harbor on Rel with 600 people in a zone. Understandable. We know there's some bugs this time around, but for the most part, it's super stable. Like if I, when you look at the curves for, it looks smoother in the other one. I have to set that one up where you just kind of see the overall CCU. It was smooth. We had a occasional zone crash, but we know of a couple little leaks, memory leaks on the server. For the most part, the tech guys have really gotten it pretty good. We've restarted Night Harbor because of the little leaks. I think maybe like once a day or something, once every other day. We dumped Night Harbor one day just because one of us accidentally, not me, but one of us accidentally made everybody in the zone 500% bigger. So we had to do a little cleanup. Kirby the Mad, thank you for the follow. Liz Biscuits, what's going on? First night was rough with pets not behaving. After that, everything seemed to go really well. Yeah, the pets are NPCs, right? Or mobs, or, well, I tend to call the mobs NPCs as well, right? Like, they're non-player characters. And, yeah. Because you gotta understand, it's not just 600 players in Rel. When there are 600 players in Rel, in Night Harbor on Rel, it's 600 players plus like 1,000 NPCs in the zone, plus other entities I think factor in, and stuff like I think volumes that we use for things like mud actions and all sorts of shit. So is it Leonardo? Thank you. Hebrew Hammer, glad you had fun. Ixar said, based my Ixar monk character from EQ that I created, based off my Ixar monk character I created in EQ 2000. His name was Ixar Monk. I don't know if there's just more of you or what. What server was that on? Because that sounds super familiar. What's up, Robert? Red 6, what's going on, Cage-matic? Glad you had fun. Shamans have been popular. What's up, Darius? Brel and merged to Kazakh. The name sounds so familiar, though. Maybe there's just a few of you, like variations on the name. Creedle Juice said, test has been amazing like usual. Don't want to log off though. What can you do about that? That's not me. I like to abdicate that to other people. I like the fact that I can say I have no control over it. I've intentionally not learned anything about how to do that. Over the years, I've become a master of like trying to limit how much shit I'm actually involved with. You know what I mean? There's only something, my brain is not, I'm not that dude. I can only multitask so far. So I try to like limit. Goodbye, son. Did you guys see the lunar eclipse last night? Jasmine yelled and I thought something had happened. She's like, oh, Sean. I go running upstairs and it's the lunar eclipse. She had forgotten about it. The blood moon. Anyways. Leonardo says, it's come such a long way. I remember a few years ago when I think you were walking around in Shade Dunes fighting bats as a pill. Yeah. That was during our vaporware era. Malik, what's going on? That's back when the common comment about the game was vaporware. What are they thinking? Can't be done. It's we will look back and measure the development of this game in various phases of common negative comments. So that was the vaporware phase. What is the current phase? The current phase is... let's get it accurate. I think the current phase is... yeah, I kind of having fun, but it won't last more than a certain number of months after they go into early access before it is a ghost town phase. Can't sustain subs. Banana corn, that is the phase. And the reason why I can say shit like this smugly, tongue in cheek, is we've got to try to like succeed either way. So if I talk shit or don't talk shit, we still have to try to succeed. So I'd rather talk shit and then risk failure than not talk shit. It's like burning the boats. It makes us even more committed to keep grinding and grinding and grinding. We're like that drunk, I was gonna say that drunk friend, but let's just admit it was me. We're like that time when, one of those times when you have too much to drink at a party and someone looks at you and goes, dude, you're gonna throw up. I'm not gonna throw up. You're gonna throw up. And then you get pissed off and you decide, I'm not throwing up, and you power through it. That's game development in a nutshell. Or sometimes you do throw up, but then you keep going. That's game development. But don't do that. I don't encourage that. I don't drink. I have not had alcohol in 2 years. And I encourage everybody to do that. I have so much more time and energy. Jeez Louise. Let's play 541 says, I was able to convince 3 of my friends to try M&M with me on a September test. They are hooked and now talking about forming a guild for the EA launch. We made it to around level 12-ish. That is so incredibly badass. Redress says I can't decide if I'm going to be missing the game as much as I'll be missing existing in the same space as my now very tight-knit guildies for a while. Well, I mean, that's what Discord's for. You guys plan and, I don't know, play other games together for a little bit. We encourage people to play other games. AOA probably will have some play tests coming up. We're going to have a stress test coming up. Let me get caught up on chat and I'll mention the stress test and why. Candyman says, I brought a real life friend. He really liked the game. In fact, I think he's going to upgrade his PC so he can play. Hey, thank you to the PC upgraders. We ran into a couple of them over the week. Some poor folks were running into like some issues, and we found out like in one case they didn't have a video card and stuff like that. And so the idea that they're like, oh man, I'm trying to power through it, but then looking and wanting to get like an upgrade to play, it feels so 1999. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, when I was in CS on EQ, we had tech support right near us, and we'd have to send people over to tech support and stuff. And there were so many people that was like, it was their first computer just to play EQ. It was really amazing. So, chat solo, what's going on? Cagematic. Best way to get into early access, be around some of the streams. Sometimes we will do something wacky and put out like a little code or whatever. Nick has been doing that, I think. Be present in Discord and be a team player. Don't hit up new people in Discord with clown emojis and little turd emojis and stuff. That's helpful. Stuff like that. Hey, Class and Cool. What's up, Corvus? Gloomkin. Darius said, Sean, you helped me fix the graphics slowdown I was having, my settings to quality of performance, but it came back. That was you? Did I know that was you? Seems to clear up just by switching between performance and another setting. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's some stuff going on there. We'll figure it out. What's up, Bill? What's up, Cheating Death? Twin Cannon. Pixar said, remember running EQ on my 16 megabyte Voodoo effects. That was rough, just walking towards the Kino's gate as I loaded up those heavy polygons. I had like a Gateway 2000 computer that we were using for the skate parks books. I mean, that's what I claimed the need to be, but was just playing a lot of Quake on it, to be honest. I think I got my video card for it. I think I got it because of Quake. And I don't remember, for some reason I thought I upgraded for EQ, but I might not have. It might have already been okay because I was playing a lot of Quake. What's up, Herbstalk? Dozakar. Whisk 85 said, just when I thought I couldn't have more fun than the previous test, I was wrong. Had an absolutely amazing time. Great people, great game. So many secrets. A huge part of it, and I'm not just saying this, a huge part of the experience, at least for me watching and doing petitions, but doing petitions all week, spent a lot of time just, in various zones and stuff. And I would hang out on a server based on the queue, so I'd like just lurk somewhere. The interactions for the vast majority of what I saw were so good. There's so much like people talking to each other and helping each other out and starting to see the auctions go up. Right? Like, it's just so good, man. It's weird developing a game not focused on the business part of it. It's not to say we don't think about it, but I became a producer in 2011. And as my career as a producer progressed, it became so much more business focused, especially moving into free to play when I moved to Germany 10 years ago. And it's such a different feeling. It's such a badass feeling to work on a game and really the focus is like, are they having a good time in game? Are they having a good time with each other? Are they having a good time with the game? And then just thinking, let's nail that. The business part, we've got an idea. It's pretty straightforward. It's a volume thing. And, that'll figure itself out. But seeing you guys like having a good time with each other and like hearing so many people talk about it being a throwback to like, oh man, this feels like it felt when I first started playing MMOs and all this shit. That's so much more satisfying than hitting your business KPIs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so much more satisfying than, we track metrics. Like, you see, we've got a dashboard up, right? Like, I think, I don't know, do other games provide you with all this data all the time in real time and shit? Like, we plan to provide tons of business, air quotes, business data. We stay on top of it. We're looking at how many petitions did we get and what types and like, but it's just kind of like a second nature thing that feeds back into, are we showing them a good time? Let me get this. I'm missing this. Okay, I got music playing already. Hearing that rain kick in with a little bit of that, whatever that was, harpsichord playing, made me think that it was the beginning of a Metallica song, back when they were good. Yeedy Davidis, what's going on? Lighting in this game is freaking amazing. Yep. Zillith did an incredible job. And I think it's the beginning of like, well, somebody will put something cool like that in, and then we're like, oh, how do we do more different cool shit like that? Dude, yeah, I like just Cagematic. I like sitting around and hanging out. Somebody was saying, was it Classical or somebody was saying like about Fail and Draw? There are so many nice cozy places to sit around and Fail and Draw in like Evershade. Runakuna said, I'm playing on a laptop with integrated GFX at 800 by 630, roughly 30 FPS. Yeah. Well, that is a very classic experience that you've got classic hardware with classic resolution and classic FPS. Vidro, oh, not Vidro, Weirdo. I almost called you the wrong name because I was thinking of some other V name. Weirdo said, hey, had such a great time. This playtest with my guildies. Got up to level 15 on my bard. Tumblepots. Tumblepots, I saw you around. Absolutely loving the game so far. I'm glad you're having a good time. I was curious. Dargit says, I'm already on all the streams and active in the community, but no alpha access. Pretty sure Zuka blacklisted me. I didn't see you on the blacklist. Maybe we need to follow up, Dargith. I would feel bad. You've been around and you've said so many wonderfully nice things about us over the years. Maybe it is time for you to get a taste of a worse looking EverQuest. Oblit, thank you for the follow. The game's too dark. Who wants to be an alp anyway? Yes, sir. For me it is 5:30. That's why I did the stream early. I figured I'd just hang around for the end of the playtest and then maybe get done early. I'm super tired. It's been a long week. Improvision seems to be working this time around. Did you all tweak it? I believe so. It's maybe, I think it's mostly improvision tweaks, but maybe it has something to do with some of the lighting tweaks as well. Hebrew Hammer says, Robot, if I was living in Night Harbor, or if you were living in Night Harbor, would you join the Hooks, the Water Dogs, or the Serpent Sashes? I don't know. It's not a spoiler. I just think thematically, probably the Water Dogs, not Tin Hooks. Serpent Sashes are kind of cool, but Water Dogs are neat. River Pirates. It was class and cool. I scrolled up. Said, Fail and Draw looks amazing. Olgo Dev, hello. Herbstalk, hello. Whisk85 says, please find a way to kill the wiki. It helps so much with community interaction. Sadly, I don't think it'll be possible. We like wikis, actually. We think it's fine. Some people use it, some people won't. I mean, I'm quick to ask in OC in, like, you know, if I'm playing, like when we were playing P99 a bit, I'll ask in OC, and if no one will answer me there, then maybe I'll go to the wiki. I think wiki's fine. It helps some people. It's not like it's going to contain everything. It's fun. It's fun knowing there's stuff you guys still haven't found. The closed testers haven't found it. Striker, what's going on? Good to see you again. I swear that name is super familiar. Shim Ara, hello. Duggaroni says, played mostly on the PvP server this week, and it was so much fun. Made a druid, and I would randomly intervene to try and stop people from being ganked. A lot of cool, funny people playing there. Yes, there are definitely some funny people playing there. Did you see Giovanni? I had to tell my wife about Giovanni. I generally had fear I had when I first ventured into Kithakor. Had that feeling in Keeper's Bite. Oh, and it's gonna... it should get deadlier. It's definitely not deadly enough. Archer is the least played class right now, according to the data. Is it? I'm assuming it is. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always going to be one. Been able to rock the 50 gamma this playtest rather than 100. And it's so much prettier when it's not saturated. Yeah, Javestein, that is true. People in OSC have been insanely helpful in this game. Cagematic, it's been really cool. I'm reading it now, actually. CloudSec Ninja, hello. What's going on, IGT? Dargus says... Explored Fail and Draw more this test. Really loving both that city and the newbie area are coming together. Starter quest was really great. In my opinion, kudos to whoever designed that one. Lasava. Lasava and Bill, Nicodemus here in chat, have both been just hammering away on the newbie quests in there. Lasava is another individual that's come to us from the community, and just the writing has been top-notch, stellar. Deathlock, thank you for the follow. Ibrahim says, so much stuff I haven't found. Spent 20 plus hours hailing and finding quests. Figured out 4 that weren't on the wiki. Oh, neat. I'm excited to find more. Terrellians couldn't get that far in this yet. Like, well, so Terralon is going to be its own city in the middle of the continent. So that'll be a whole... You'll learn more about it, for sure. Is damage shield hitting on bow arrow intended? If I had to guess, no. DIY puns, what's going on? Random question. In your About Me on Twitch, you list yourself as lead game designer for Unannounced FPS. Are you able to elaborate? Yes. It was a game that looks very similar to Smedley's new game. We didn't move forward with it. So if you've been following Smedley's new game, the concept was very similar to that. But we took the PlanetSide engine. We took the PlanetSide engine and we borrowed a 3ds Max file from Battlefield's Desert Combat mod. And then we stuck the peanut butter, we stuck the chocolate in the peanut butter, and had like a 40 on 40 play test where people were in this, you know, whatever that city was, like the good city from Desert Combat. I don't know if it's like Kabul or whatever. So it was a nice Middle Eastern city with people on the quads and tanks, but they couldn't get through some of the streets, and the reavers, the mosquitoes were like kind of like little birds, I guess, right? Except you couldn't carry people. But we had concept art for little birds and like up armored SUVs with chain guns and British SAS rovers and shit. This same woman who did our badass concept art for Guns for Hire, which was that unannounced FPS. She is either lead or just one of the, but I think she's the lead environment designer for Smed's new game, which is a mercenary, like persistent first person shooter, with like base building and ability to raid people's bases and stuff, which we wanted to do that based off of us playing a shitload of the Defense of the Ancients mod before it became like, you know, Dota and then MOBAs and all that stuff. But a few of us on the EQ team just loved the shit out of like playing the old Dota mod. And it was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was, if you take this and then you've got, you know, essentially you got your whatever goons or whatever you call them, sort of working AI wise. And it was one of those things I always thought was missing from PlanetSide was just like some AI support there. They had a really good AI programmer, Scott, I think, on the team, but Smoke Jumper was like deathly against adding AI to PlanetSide. So that is the story. So that is the unannounced MMO FPS that is on my about, that is on my CV. So what's up, Encrypt? So best of luck to Smed and the team. Some great people on the team. Fisa, Brad, Tramel, Higby. Well, Smed. I'm sure there's more, but cool people I've worked with in the past. I wish them the best of luck. Smed, if you see this, you have now ghosted me like 3 times for an interview, so I'm no longer pursuing an interview with you, but I would still do one. But best of luck. Just think, if we had made the game you're making now in 2003 or 4, whenever that was, 3, 2, then I might not be here today, and that would suck. So I'm glad we didn't. Glad you're enjoying the quests, Herbstalk. Verithius, good morning. It is 5:42 for me. DIY Puns said, just stopping by to say thanks for a test. Good groups and good times all around. Danke. Sehr gerne. Es freut mich that you had fun. Were they pickup groups? Were they new people to you? DIY? Hey, Wicca. You're welcome. It was okay. I know sometimes it's hard not to go exploring and getting stuck places you shouldn't be yet, but that's on us, not on you. Shimara says, Druid player here. I've played 2 testing periods now. This past week, I mainly leveled friends from Pantheon and explored different zones. Definitely looking forward to being able to play full time. Hey, appreciate it. That sounds like it sounds like you had a good time then, and that's the hope, right? Built on Etherlink though. Oh, the other game. Q Stewart, it's probably, I mean, that is definitely one way to get funding for your game, for your project. I think they got like 30 million in funding. That's pretty tight. Oh, you know who else is there? Because I was just thinking, that's cool. That means good people I know will have a paycheck for a while. Or it may be wildly successful. Hopefully that first part of the statement didn't sound too negative. Curzon01, thank you for the follow. Which then immediately made me think that Paul's there. I love Paul to death as well. They have some great people on that team. It's definitely a capable team. Hopefully the people with the purse strings don't get in their way. I think that's the biggest thing, man. Giving teams the autonomy to do cool shit. Pipes, what's going on? Said this week has been amazing. Made it to 33 on my enchanter. Are you getting? You're level 33. Have you run out of the game? Are you like, oh no, what am I gonna do when this thing goes live now? Or are you down to like stick it out with us when we go into early access and then potentially, you know, have to wait every once in a while to get some new shit? Hell no, so much content to keep going with. Right on. We're working on module 1 stuff as well right now. So we naturally we got to wrap up. We got to, you know, wrap up stuff for early access, but like some of these zones we're going to keep tweaking and adding stuff to all the way up until 1.0. Let's get real, but we want to get the EA specific zones kind of wrapped up and polished and stuff. We're like adding little new mini dungeons and stuff here and there. You'll keep finding those. But we're already working ahead on module 1. We want to make good progress on module 1 because we want to be able to stick to our like promise of steady content delivery, right? And if we wait to work on the first big update until we go into early access, no matter how well we prepare, is going to be a bit of a shitstorm. Or maybe not. Who knows? This week has been pretty good. You know, like it's been pretty calm. But there's new expectations. You're giving us money. There may be more of you. There may be fewer of you. Who knows? And so you can't get started on stuff and then work on it for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and then release. Nah. So we've started now, and then we will hopefully be able to deliver that to you in a timely manner after we go into EA. Sade says needs to be extended about 6 more hours so we can finish TPS reports. Yeah, I'm sorry, and it's on a Monday too, right? So a lot of you had to go back to work and shit. I'm sorry. Lots of pickup groups, DIY said. A few people from last test as well. That's good to hear. Wicked Sloth. Yeah, we've got we'll see. We may be doing some different things up here. We've had some discussions and some thoughts, but this will be an interesting area up here once we are ready for visitors. Is EA a full wipe? Yeah, when we go into EA, then that will be your forever tunes starting up. Sylvania, you're very welcome. I'm glad you had fun. We are very appreciative that you guys came in and played, and always hopeful that you're enjoying yourselves. Alnosis said, I love how much agency we have over the UI now, especially being able to move ability bar and other elements where we want them. Thank you. Can't wait for chat tabs. Chat tabs will be a big one. Encrypt has been just coding away and getting that functionality and like just constantly adding new stuff. I think the chat tabs will be a big one. There was another one that I had we don't have, I didn't realize it for some reason. I don't think we have ignore in, do we? Ignore will help some people. It will help with a couple petitions. Thanks for publishing the stats from the last playtest. We've got new stats coming up. We've been posting them kind of each day as we go. It's been really good. It's kind of a expensive query, and so I don't know if I broke something. I was going to run a new report. Oh, OKS issue, little camp issue here. Who's on that one? Lasava's got it. Okay. Lasava, if you're out there, let me know. if you need an assist on that. Let me check Slack. Customer service channel. Cool. Okay. All quiet. Let's see. Yeety said, I still got a slippery ogre. Aside from just like a weird Diddy party visual that came into my head. I'm trying to think of what that's in reference to. Toe Jam, what's going on? Mr. Slurms. We do have stats for classes this playtest. Let me see if I can get that up. There, pause. I will see about posting that on here in a moment. I think if I just it's here. I just got the scene set up in a kind of a dumb way, I think. I know what I did. I did this before. Yes. One moment. I will not be watching chat because I cannot think and watch chat at the same time, as people have commented on YouTube stating that all I do is bumble around on stream. And it is true. Guilty as charged. I am a bumbler. I do in fact on occasion bumble. I've been known to do some bumbling. Amongst other things. Sometimes I bumble. Sometimes I produce value. I produce player-facing value. But I do enjoy an occasional bumble or two. Anyways, you don't want me doing real work on stream. Whenever I'm doing real work on stream, my tongue will stick out. Like, I noticed this back when I was a little skateboard kid. When I'm concentrating, my tongue sticks out. And it would always, my face would get very slobbery. And I would do that trick where you turn your shirt kind of inside out. Like you reach in, you turn it inside out and you wipe your face. The inside of my shirt's it's not a pretty scene. What was going on there with the shirts? I'm not reading chat at all, so I have no idea what your response to any of my comments are. And I'm gonna clue you in. I'm not super overly worried about your response. And I mean that with all love. Okay, here we go. I think I figured it out. And now I also got to figure out what Yeety was talking about with regards to slippery ogres. Okay, well, there's a lot of text. I scroll down, nothing's on fire. I scroll back up, and I see Fat Matt Loves Spaghetti. is here. Hey, what's going on, Fat Matt? Liz Biscuit said, my problem with ignore is then you don't hear the whole conversation and wonder WTF people are on about. It's true. I prefer not ignoring. I prefer if someone's harassing you, just send us a petition. Because if they're harassing you and you've said, hey, can you please stop? Thank you. Please and thank you. Then, and then they keep doing it, then we'll take care. We'll take it from there. Nebs, what's going on? Said, hey, had a couple of great pickup groups yesterday and felt like I was back in the early 2000s. Really nice conversations, social interactions while slaying crocs and bandits. Feels like the social third space vision is really coming to fruition. Thank you very much for that. We believe there is a secret formula. And it's one of those things where we could be wrong, and it could be that if we took everybody's advice and improved everything that they say needs to be improved, that the secret formula would still be intact. But we also feel that maybe that's not the case. So we're very cautious about screwing up the secret recipe. By secret recipe, I mean just doing the shit that we keep talking about over and over again. Mr. Storm says, do you think low archer population has to do with confusion about ranger being deemed as an archer? Maybe. Or at least perceived by what people think the ranger to be. I don't know. I don't know if it's an education problem, if it's, I mean, sometimes it's just like when there's a bunch of other cool stuff, people gravitate towards it. And so it may not be, yeah, well, maybe it is like a class fantasy thing isn't quite as obvious yet. It could be that we're still working on it. I don't know. But we'll dig into that. That's a great question. A lot of the class questions, please keep an eye out for Nick Hotz. When he's on, he will tackle those questions for you. I tend to avoid them because it's like I have thoughts on stuff, but I don't want like my random ass thoughts to be in contradiction to whatever the latest thinking has been on, or, you know. So I tend to ask my questions or provide my ideas behind the scenes so that there's no big confusion within the community where I'm like, I think this is going to happen and we haven't discussed it. Verithius says, it's so nice to see the world created, to imagine all that's been created since the brainstorm in stream I was in years ago is truly mind-blowing. Very well done, sirs. My hat's off to you. You're creating a place for a lot of us old players who miss a world like this, with new systems and areas for new players to the genre to live in. The world you guys have built is beautiful and immersive. Hey, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Could we get a cross-level class stat? Really curious about not only which classes are most played, but which ones people stick to the most and they'll give up. If that is not in our big sort of breakdown, I'll talk to Swanee about getting that added, and we'll have that in the update. I thought slippery was the gnome only racial. Can ogres use? Okay, Oblit, thank you so much. It had nothing to do with Diddy. I was off base. I apologize. It was about the trait. I don't know that we've got everything restricted the way it's going to be at this point. We've got trait work ahead of us. Olgo Dev says, I get it, Sean. Reading chat scrambles my brain. I am a serial bumbler. I mean, it happens, right? I'm not a pro streamer. Spelled Han says, hey, from Arizona. Hey, I love your iced tea. Thanks for the playtest this week. Don't get a chance to play a lot, but what I did felt great. Super appreciate that. I'm curious. I'm sorry, I paused because you made me think of a question, Spelled Han. It's like, I wonder how many people played every day versus, hey, I only had a couple days to play or whatever. I I would love to do that. I'm too lazy to set up a poll, I guess. But maybe we will set up a poll in Discord. I don't know if everybody's in the Discord, but you really should be. Yeah, sorry. I am so behind on stuff. Like the MJ tongue, yes. I can't do it on purpose. It just happens. Pipes said, sorry, I had a work call. I had to jet for a moment. I'm going to come back up to this because it's a longer one. Let me scroll down, make sure I didn't miss anything. Can you not extract individual accounts and how many days they played from your data? Yeah, I mean, we were able to basically look at that in a, what is it called? Not anonymized, but when it is all assembled together. What's it called? I always forget that freaking word. And I had to like, it came up so many times during like GDRP training and stuff. Aggregated. Thank you. And de-identified as well. If anybody from the European government is listening. Totally de-identified. To the max. All right, let me scroll back up. Pipe said, had a work call. Back to answer your question about content beyond 33. We have a plan to around 40, but after 40 we'll be looking for what's next. Not sure if we're going to make the next test though, because hopefully my guild got into beta and we won't be around for the next test. Smiley face. Well, you would still be around for the test. All the people that are testing behind the scenes are playing in front of the scenes. Candyman says, I love the player agency you guys have built into M&M. You let me as a player do what I want, even if it's suboptimal. Unlimited trade skills are one example. In the long run, trying to do every trade skill is not feasible due to storage space. Well, wait until you get a house. But you let me try it and let me be the one to decide if it's a bad idea. Yes. We're very in favor of people trying things that might be a bad idea, including a couple people getting together and going, hey, let's just make an MMO. Fuck it, I'll learn Blender. But it may be a great idea. Being able to carefully but successfully explore high-level zones is another. You don't deliberately place mobs in all the paths, so I have no chance to make it through. Nope. Though there may be more mobs in some places later. It's just some places are just kind of light on mobs, but... Okay, scrolling down... Brandon C. Bailey Art says they're going to bring back the troll a bloody scratch. Yeah, it's the ogres that scratch their butts, no? It would be cool to allow you to unlock special idle animations and stuff. We've been joking for 4 years now about an itchy butt quest. So if we could get itchy butt quest in, then my life will be fairly complete. The angriest autist rated with a party of 23. That's a lot of you. That is a... Sorry, I was just, again, my brain went off into picturing. I guess you're not all autists. You're just hanging out with the angriest autist. So, but I was just picturing the influx of autists. Which I can say. I'm scrolling up. I'm not concentrating. I'm just scrolling up. I'm trying to see, did I miss something else? Justine says, as far as class fantasy thing, Bard is nothing like I expected it would be, but in a very good way. Loving how they play and sort of stance, and you can do Stance Revolution. You can do with the different songs. Arizona Ice Tea is from New York. Really? Obviously New York State, cushy. I like their like $1 policy though. Even though it's like €2.50. Will there be graphic sliders so I can play on a potato? My potato couldn't play this beta this time. Hero Trader, I'm sorry to hear about that. We're going to continue to try to optimize the client. but there will be a limit to the mid spec. But we're trying our darndest. We have noticed that there are some legit potatoes out there that are able to play it, so that's cool. But there will definitely be a limit. You know, one of the things that we've done, and we'll see, there may be changes over time or whatever, but like, look at this, is sure we're low poly and stuff, but we're also doing a lot with lighting and shadows and insane draw distances and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe, I don't know, clipping plane, I don't know if that'd work. Quatos, hello, what's going on, buddy? Quatos, Jasmine and I were sitting in bed, and I had to show her the clip of you finally discovering the secret place. I'm finally getting to where you guys are. Dangerous Autist says, we've come to give you hostile support. You're doing a good job. Hey, thank you. I'm just catching up from that point, so sorry for the delay. So Algnosis said, me and my guild played pretty much every day. We played a lot on the weekends. Most of us have hit 20 plus now, but we have several playtests under our belts. Interesting stat for you, Sean. Over half our guild never played EQ. Lots of classic WoW and Final Fantasy 11 players in our ranks. We're seeing a lot of that, actually. And it's interesting. It's good. It's definitely good to see. It's something that we've been thinking since kind of the beginning of development might work. It's one of those things that most people that are a little more cautious about the game or critical about the game kind of throw out as a, this game is only for X, and we're like, that's not what we believe, and that's not what the data I think is going to show us. So Zoltar, thank you for the follow. Moki, did I already say thank you? I don't think I did. Thank you for the follow. Angrius Autist says, I love secrets. I ended up in part of the sewer that was a big fancy big fancy very white. Made out eventually. Yeah, we've got work to do in the sewers. The sewers are gonna they'll have more. There may even be more. Fall 20 said, Robot Kick What here? Thanks for helping with remembering where my corpse was. You're welcome. Did you find it? Were you the one that went a little too hard the night before? Angrius said, I think the market is very prime for an MMO like this. Everyone is overstimulated with quick, snappy dopamine kicks. People are really craving slow pacing. We're hoping that we happen to align nicely with some stuff. There's a lot of interesting stuff in the zeitgeist at the moment, I would say. Right, there's a lot of discussion of like horizontal versus vertical progression and the balance there is sandbox versus theme park. Right, these topics really started to come more and more to the forefront about 2 years ago. So we just happened to get in a bit before that with some of the thinking on like third places and stuff. And it's cool to see like the WoW OSRS sort of like experimentations, right? Because that really, a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, the game's got to look a certain way or play a certain way if it's going to capture. Well, we all know that WoW is like, has been the grand master of MMOs in the West for, you know, decades now. And everybody's like, yeah, but if you're into this, you can't be into that. And it's like, what is that bullshit? And it's interesting to see that not be the case. So the playing field's pretty open. I'm not saying that we're going to be, you know, we have no, like, we're not sitting here like planning for specific crazy success cases and stuff like that. We'll naturally always sort of keep an eye on, like, how do we scale certain things? How do we provide the best quality service in the case that there's like some really big, you know, influx or whatever. But those are all just, that's all risk management and planning that you have to do no matter what. But I think there's, you know, it's an interesting time. Other discussions going on right now that I think have been applicable to it have been like, I mean, you just see a lot of it, like, oh, how do we get that feeling about the journey? How do we make things more social? Like the you know, everybody's like, get out of here, a gnat. Like when we first started thinking about it, it was we were thinking, coming from a place of just pacing and social and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna scroll up because I missed a bunch of comments. I'm gonna try to blast through them real quick, especially from you new folks. What's up, Dragon? I think I've got a DM from you, and I could have sworn I forwarded it, but I don't know that I got a response to my forward, so I'll get with you. The name Arizona was chosen because he felt the state of Arizona had a more healthy and clean feeling compared to the CEO's hometown of Brooklyn. Well, but I think he's been pretty solid on keeping the pricing flat, right? That's a good guy move. Let's see. Cromulent Wizard said this game may have an old school ethos, but damn, it's beautiful. We're glad you like it. You know, some people I think are looking for something else visually, and that's going to happen. But man, there's a lot of times when I'm in here, you know, especially lately, been running around in Phelan, in Evershade, and I love it. I don't know. I think it's a very pretty game. I'm biased though. Brandon said, I just want to state that even being in test state, you have the game in. It's still far more stable than that of the EQ servers. This is huge. Big props to you and the team. Hey, thank you for that. I mean, listen, I don't want to brag on the tech guys too much, but I mean, 600 people in a zone and it didn't just like completely shit the bed that's very, in my experience at least, that's very commendable. Those guys they've brought this thing a long way, and they're still continuing. We've got more optimizations even that we didn't want to put them in for this test because it was too risky. So we're gonna have a stress test. We're gonna have a stress test probably soonish after this, because we had some improvements that one of our newer team members has done, and we want to actually stress it out. Why are all gnomes bald? Critic asked. Because they got to deal with all the rest of you. I had hair when this project started. Look, I had hair. I had a glorious head of hair in 2020. I can show you pictures. Luxurious. Fall 20 said, yes, I was wasted with a friend, played the game. Okay, I remember who you are now. I'm glad you found your corpse. Tribalism is a generalized concept that doesn't see the forest for the trees. That is 100% true. Angriest, that is, yeah. A lot of sort of binary thinking too, which is normal for a lot of us. Barathia said, sewers are awesome. I was in a person's stream who mentioned there's nothing in the sewers. I convinced him to explore and search the hidden tunnels, walls, mud event triggers. Let's say he was able to make it deep into where he couldn't believe lived in the sewer under city. Yeah, we've got more plans there. The guys have been doing some stuff there. I haven't really been involved in the sewer stuff aside from discussing like, hey, can we connect them to some different points and have them spread out? And what's the plan for the future and stuff? There's definitely some lore stuff that I want to run through there and just make sure that we've got all the lore support and stuff that the guys need for it. Politics, mayors of towns, the most helpful people will get voted into power. Cosmetic badge, item that goes in chest, incentivize people to socialize while adding a new fund system. That'd be kind of fun. All of a sudden, we're in early access with mayors and shit, making policies, looking over at AOC, borrowing some of their ideas. There's nothing wrong with idea borrowing, right? You're waiting for the Goblin City to be populated? It looks so cool. That's not even the Goblin City, though. That's just like... That's not even it. Wait until you see the actual Goblin City. Cromulent said, I think you nailed the look of the game. It's like the triangles of EQ that didn't need my imagination to carry so much of the load. Is that correct or is that opposite? The idea has always been to try to make your imagination fill in as many of the blanks as possible because your imagination is better than any Unreal Engine 5 bullshit. I said it. We're harnessing the power of your mind. This is so funny. I recall reading an article about what race was the most chosen race in MMOs. It was always human race that was picked the most. The graph is depicting the same. Quite funny considering fantasy game with multiple races. A lot of that though is also just class availability and things like that. But I mean, in EQ, it was definitely the case as well. I think it was like humans and then dark elves. I had a flowing mane. Frankenbeans, it was true. Probably. Not really, but... Autist said, nice, love optimizations that were put in already. UI and things like pet interactions also felt amazing. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the guys are steadily hammering on stuff, so it's really cool to be able to show progress playtest to playtest. Because the last playtest wasn't that long ago. What's up, Lizette? Bring on the heap, Wickersloth says. The heap is going to be fun. Kai Paro said, random, but is there a plan to eventually have a ding sound that others nearby can hear? I miss hearing my group mates leveling up in EQ. Could you hear it outside of... Was it for everybody? I thought it was just for you, and then you would say ding. But either way, I think we've discussed some back and forth on that one. It was social? Interesting. Was it always that way? I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just trying to remember. Innova says I'm going to pull a carbon and freeze myself until M&M releases to make time go by quicker. Oh, don't do that. You got to enjoy life. Communist said I may not have phrased that well. I'm saying it's the old school look but with modern polish. Perfect. I read that as the intent. That's why I was like... That's why I asked. Angriest said, yeah, I was shocked the changes were so tangible this test. Yeah, I mean, it was a quick turnaround, but there was... But keep in mind that there was stuff in the... There was already stuff that we had that wasn't in the last test. So what we tend to do is we try to, and hopefully we do it. The zone's now shouting, hell no, we won't go. That'd be interesting. Everybody, they're like refusing to leave the server. I don't know that it works that way, but the way that we do things is we try to hit a nice cutoff point, and then we'll have a bunch of stuff that we wish we could have had in the build. But that's why it's got to be ready for the cutoff point, and then from there we basically lock it, smoke test it, and then try to give you as stable as stable of an experience as possible, so that then you know, we don't mess up any of your time playing or whatever. We hate for you to like take time off or whatever, and then we have to cancel a playtest or some shit at the last minute. So the stuff that you're seeing in this playtest was probably stuff that was done prior to the last playtest, some of it. But we just didn't feel comfortable pushing it yet. Robert said EQ doesn't have social dinging sound effects. Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought it was always, if you felt like saying it, you say it, but you do always tend to say it because then people are like, crats, and that feels good. Zilkaril says, love the game, had fun at playtest, but confused about early access. The website says this is a launcher game, but also hints that it's kind of like a beta. If it's the actual launch, why call it early access? Why not? And why not wipe the servers afterwards if it's still a proof of concept phase? Sorry about the long question. No reason to apologize. We'll look at the wording. Maybe it's confusing. Essentially, we wanted to get to a point with development where we felt pretty like feature complete with regards to major core fundamental features, and have a nice vertical slice of the gameplay. And then essentially, I mean, the reality is, and this will be a thing that comes up from time to time, once we're in early access, I think people will start commenting, and we're taking money, people will start commenting about, oh, the game's not done. They just went into early access to like start taking money. And to some degree, I mean, not to some degree, yes, that's true. Because money means that we can increase our throughput and we can make the rest of the game faster. But we're still in development. So even a zone like this, or especially a zone like this, Night Harbor, which is still in progress, it's likely that you'll see additions and changes and maybe some polishing here and there from early access to 1.0. So we're going live. The game is live. We don't plan on wiping your characters from early access start on. We'll just start new 1.0 servers. And so that's why maybe it's a little confusing, but the game's not done. It's just, it's in early access. It's still in development. But we will be, you know, accepting cash at that point, because we haven't so far. Not that like, you know, no sob story or whatever on that front. We haven't accepted cash. And that was our choice. But we also wanted the autonomy to be able to kind of do things our way. And have fewer people going, hey, I give you money, so you better add those chat bubbles. And so the thought there then is, by the time we get to early access, we can say, hey, we're pretty happy with our decisions today. Doesn't mean we won't change things or whatever. Who is that? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. If you sneak in, you sneak in. At least you didn't get stuck this time. Chat bubbles coming with my... All right. I don't want to say this because it's going to trigger some people or whatever. We'll put it on the sub count. There's tumble pots. Put it on the sub counts like stretch goal. X number of subs for X number of months. We start that's still kind of shady. People talking about playing hide and seek with the devs by finding obscure spots to avoid server shutdown. Enjoyable thought. I like it. In a strange dungeon crawler Carl kind of way. Whoever did the marble design in the palace did an awesome job, by the way. Ended up exploring around the area. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do up there, but it's going to be hopefully it winds up being a cool area. Maybe you do some adventuring and stuff up there. How does it feel being down to one giant last public playtest? It would have been a lot like scarier. Well, two things. One, this playtest went really well. Like really well behind the scenes. It was very quiet behind the scenes, which was nice. Oh, and I meant to ask, is it Zilkerl? Did that answer your question? But I mean, you know, the launching a game or going live or whatever it is, the playtests help us practice for it in terms of just even like emotionally preparing yourselves or whatever. So I'm, you know, not to sound lame or whatever, but I've been a part, you know, when you count expansions and things like that, I've been a part of a fair number of things going live. I think, you know, in terms of relative to kind of the industry norm. So I'm not too freaked out. There's just a lot of shit we need to get done. Let's see, scrolling down. Yeah, you can't sneak up with that sound though. Sorry, Wikisot. Are you trapped now? Pipes? Let me know if you're trapped. Fat Matt refuses to leave the server. Oh, they refuse to leave the server. Okay. Sariad said, just this point, I'm stuck bored in this work meeting for the last hour. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I know it kind of sucks that you guys are at work and stuff today. And thank you all the people that said you're ready to pay. We'll see. We'll see if you and all of your friends and your families and everybody else that you need to drag with you, put your money where your mouth is in 2026 and keep it there. Just forget that you're subbed. If you're unhappy, the best thing to do is just forget about us and don't look at your bank statement. The best way to be mad at us is just to not even pay attention to us anymore. Don't come to the Discord. Unsubscribe on the mailing list. Don't go to the subreddit. Don't think about us. And don't check your bank statement. Do not unsubscribe. We will take that as a protest vote. That'll show us. Let me check and make sure petitions aren't going like crazy. Lasava and Swanee were handling petitions, so I think they might be good. Sorry if you don't. Yeah. No, they're good. I don't even have to apologize. Ezron Thorn, what's going on? Thank you for the follow. In the LOLs. I think Nick said 7,500 plus accounts. Unique players this playtest, yeah. Last I checked, should I run I'm gonna run a report again and see if it provides that info. It kinda, oh, I don't want FNF. Run report. Refresh page. Okay. Last I looked, it was like 7,500 unique players with about 3,300 unique accounts per day. Which is pretty solid. We'll have this in the update. I was putting the update together behind the scenes. So I was putting the update together behind the scenes while answering petitions yesterday and today. We'll get clips of all that data for you guys. Little analysis. Look at these guys. Sneaky sneakers. Thanks again to all the people saying that you're excited to pay. That'll be cool. Polis, KPS, yes, we've got another playtest in November. We've got a stress test coming up before then. We've got a stress test that we want to run fairly soon because there are some additional optimizations that were not in this build. So yeah, like our big thing now is just making sure that progression feels right, that we've got the right amount of content for you guys for this initial progression, and then also getting module 1 ready to go. You'll see some glimpses of module 1 stuff in this coming update, so that's going to be cool. Yeah, I'll even show you. I'll show you a picture in advance to get you excited about the update. How about that? I'll save that GIF. That'll be cool. You'll be surprised by that. Let's see. Make these extra large so I can pick my other monitor is so dark. And you'll see more of this place in the update. So be sure to check it out. Gloomy said, I can't believe so many people play human. It's amazing to me that someone would choose a boring race. You know, people like it. People dig it. Stats covered. Oh shit. I didn't even think about it. I'm not looking at the camera. All right, let me do that again. Cover stats. I'm a big dummy. You're like, everybody. I was like, no, nobody seems interested. Oh well. Womp womp womp. Here, then I'll show you 2 pictures. 1, 2. Our FNG did this. It's big. It's a big area. It's a big old outdoor, indoor, underdoors. Photos are too dark, need up to gamma. I love it. What's up, Priptini? Ramby said, I watched several people play during this test. So far, I haven't found a person that doesn't like it. On rare occasion, complaints about people not knowing where to go. I think a lot. We'll get a new influx probably at EA for sure of people that like just don't know what we're about, and then we'll get people that are like, oh, why is this way? Oh, this is nice. This is cozy. But yeah, this playtest has been pretty chill. I think so. What I was describing to the team, or at least some people on the team, was my perception of what's going on right now with the playtest is we've gone from a lot of people hearing there is a new MMO, and they come in and they're like, "What is this? Corpse runs, no dark, you know, blah blah blah." And so those are kind of the normal people that are just coming in to check out a new MMO, whereas I think a lot of the new people that came in for this playtest and more recently, have heard about what we are and want to check out what we are, right? So it's that is different. Did I already say Ezra and Thorn, thank you for the follow? I think I missed a few people. Firos, Phaneronic, Torque the Tank, and Water Shots. Cadillac, thank you. Yeah, a lot more people bringing their folks in, you know, like literally sometimes, but also, you know, people bringing in family and friends and stuff. So that was reflected in the sort of anecdotal data that I saw. And then if we're looking at If we're looking at retention data and stuff like that, I think so as well. The pretty rainbow, or no, the petty rainbow, even better. Thank you for the follow. IGT said biggest fantasy is that a human can live in a world of goblins and ogres. Yeah, right? Like it's relatable. When will the next update post on the website be? Dula, it should be in the next few days. Next couple of days. I was making good progress yesterday and a little bit this morning, that I just got distracted today. So we're going to try to wrap it up. You'll see some new zones. Like new zones like you haven't seen. And we're still not showing you all of them. CS Mass, I don't think I read this. All 50 of my friends are eager to pay you, even box price plus sub. It's just a sub, but we appreciate it. A sub and patience is all we want from you. Rather than a box price, just stay subbed for a bit would be cool. Quato said digging the shoals changes. Nice. Yeah, we've got, there's going to be changes in those more recent zones. So we've got a lot of stuff to do still. We're going to be busy. What's up, Striker? And Kibik, if I hadn't said hi already, and Hoops, and... yeah, Trolls will happen sooner than I originally thought, but Zukin, we talked to Zukin about it, and it seems like may not be as long a wait as I thought it was originally going to be in terms of which module it's going to pop in. Let's see. What's up, Barky? Lithic. Watershot said, great playtest, my friend. Amazing progress. Hey, thank you. The team. I'm exceptionally, proud of the team as a fellow team member, just because, dude, this playtest, I said it earlier, this playtest was really quick after the last big playtest. And we got it together. Got a lot of stuff added in, and it was stable. Like, it was just a big question of like stability, and we pushed it hard. Somebody had asked, like, I don't know, an hour ago about it being on a holiday. That was not on my mind when we were talking about it. I don't know that we even discussed in much detail the fact that it was Labor Day. I think we mentioned, oh, it's Labor Day, and I don't remember us really discussing in detail the fact that Labor Day meant that we couldn't troll you guys while you were at work all day and have you slowly roll in. So that first day was if I bring up the stats scene again, can't really see it on this chart as much, but that first day was just like a straight line going up to like 1,000 people with like 600. You guys, noisy little monkeys. Chart's not being shows. Yeah, I clicked it again, didn't I? There we go. It's just because it's so pretty up here, so I turned it off. Did some lowish exploring and Bale Zintar this test. The zone is terrifying. It definitely should be. Are you gonna do a price for a full year or just month to month? We're gonna do month to month. We got to talk about it as a team a little bit. We've talked about monthly, every 3 months, every 6 months, and also gift subs. And hey, Quixana. And so the only question I have with that is just making sure people know what they're getting into. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we make you have to pay for 1 month first, and after your first month we unlock the ability for you to do longer term, no lifetime subs. Lifetime subs are not good for games. That's my opinion. Lifetime subs to me feel kind of like they're pessimistic. Because my belief is that your lifetime value should exceed a lifetime sub. A realistic, like a decent lifetime sub amount. Because if you do a lifetime sub, like what do you charge for it? It's either something ridiculous, like, you know, do we feel comfortable charging that? Or do we... $69.99 for a 6-month sub? Why wouldn't it be $69.69 for a 6-month sub? How does that math work out? I'm so... We might do that just because we're juvenile. And then that's why we can't get mad when people are being juvenile in chat or whatever, because we're kind of the same. Dargus said maybe consider a second boat on the route to encourage more rides. There's actually like 5 boats that we want to get in, Dargus. And I think I mentioned this in a previous stream. Ollie wanted to get in more. We just I'll have to find out what's going on with what Fern Times is saying. I'm gonna finish my point and then scroll up. Essentially, Ali has proposed a boat from Night Harbor to Shallow Shoals back to Night Harbor, from Keeper's Bite to Shallow Shoals back to Keeper's Bite, one from Keeper's Bite to Night Harbor, one from Night Harbor to Keeper's Bite, and one up the river, because we want to show off that boats will go up the river as well. So we just didn't get them in for this one. All right, so playtest was great. In Warm Spain, there was a 25 solo camping. Fern Time said, will there be any loot prevention to higher levels? No. If we find that they're just sitting there forever and ever, then we might talk to them and be like, hey, stop being lame. But that'll be less of an issue as the world gets bigger and bigger. And then hopefully we'll find that for the most part, it's not really efficient for them to do that a lot, or for very long. We'll look into why they're sitting there and maybe make some adjustments. But like trivial loot code and things like that feels kind of artificial and not in keeping with what we want to do. Type Dust B. Type D USB. F me. Dust B. I don't know. I guess it kind of made sense. Type D USB. Thank you for the follow. Azog the Third. Thank you for the follow. Let me scroll down. Still hoping you do the fund for those in need of subs that got talked about a bit. Oh, that's a good reminder. Kind of the Angel Studios approach. That's an interesting reminder. I'm curious how we would handle the definition of who's in need, though. Well, we kind of have that, though, with gift subs. But we can talk about it more, Liz. Striker said, absolutely loving Bard, but reverse Kite Charming is just way too overpowered right now. Just keep providing us that feedback and we'll keep looking at it. And we love you too, Cryptini. My wife and I are huge fans of The Chosen. It's good. It's a great series. It was actually before my dad died. Turned him on to it, and it was the last set of DVDs that we bought for him, and he loved it. So good stuff. Let's see. Made a trip to farm a wolf heart for alchemy. It wasn't that wasn't so long. Yeah, sometimes, Suzante. We were just talking about this earlier. That it was funny. We were talking about people complaining about the corpse run back to Telekir, and how long it was. And it was like, I was like, I don't think it's that long though, guys. Like, I think it's a shorter run than like running from Freeport to Guck. And it was like, no, I don't. It's longer. I think Ali was like, it's longer. I'm like, I don't. I remember timing this stuff. So while we were in our meeting, while we were talking, I ran, and then but I did get a sow, and then I ran there, and it was like 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Jaxeraz, thank you for the follow. I might be off on that time, but I'm fairly certain. And I'm a bumbler. Polypollen, thank you for the follow as well. Keeper's Bite sounds like a dog dungeon. It's a real word. I looked it up. It's a fancy word, bite. B-I-G-H-T. Sounds like a confusing number of boats, to be honest. We'll see. Well, that is a good point, though, Malkir. Like, which boat am I supposed to get on? We'll have to figure out. That's going to be a fun challenge for us to make that obvious. Brandon, thanks for the follow as well. That is a good point. I think we would have probably overlooked that. There have been no summons. You must parkour. Wait. Parkour. Yeah, it's spelled weird, right? P-A-R-K-O-U-R, right? Yes, someone else said it. I love my typos. I cannot type a damn thing without a typo. Chudster coming in with a good question. Will you add a cod piece slot? That will be for a later expansion. Jaxraz, thank you for being here, and thank you for being cool and being kind to us. Someone in game said you are extending this playtest for 72 hours. Is he trolling? Trolling who? Me? We've got work to get back to. Fabrizio, how's it going? But we will be having a stress test soonish. Hippie Trippy 420 is it intended that for the alchemy skill, we are unable to grind Stranglevine and Mortar, even though most recipes use it are green. Probably oversight. If you have trade skill questions, be sure to tag Rift in our Discord. Yeah, I'm thinking a Dockmaster or something like that will wind up being the move. Agreed. Yeah, the goblin side of the Telekir is very much a long run, so apologies on that one. I would recommend that you do your best not to die. When will MTX level boost to level 60 launch? Do you have bitcoins? Please. Do not tell the rest of the team I asked you that question. Just DMs, please. Entirely different ships with unique flags would help. Phaneronic, I think that would be cool. I wonder if we have the budget for that. I wonder if we can pull that one off. We'll still need a Dockmaster because people would be like, Which flag is what? But that would be a nice additional touch. Like some different colored sails and stuff would be cool. It shouldn't be too hard to do, right? Don't let's forget that one. The old Milkbagger says, can you guys do a Liquid Death type promotion where we can legally sell our souls for access? I would. Did you not? Right after I talk about watching the Chosen. No soul selling here. Just bitcoins, please. Is it safe to swim in the ocean? For the time being, mostly, yeah. For the time being. Hopefully by November, maybe not. And I'm just kidding about the bitcoins. Not really. Oh, Encrypt said that Hippie Trippy 420's question is already fixed on dev. Perfect. Dude, I've caught up on chat. That's cool. I'm gonna look and see. Looks like the session stats is still running. Rito said, hey Swanee, thanks for saving me from beneath Wormsbane. Swanee's been on it. Okay, I was wondering. Swanee said he broke the playtest stats in the web app. We'll fix it soon. Perfect. When is M&M Classic? Probably after 1.0. Encrypt, you spoiled the surprise. We really need to get fall damage turned back on by November. Everybody's up here hanging out. At least the bodies will be at the bottom. That is fair. That is one of the good things about fall damage. Fat Chunk says, will we get a Star Stable crossover event in M&M? Probably not. Though I would love to talk to the old Star Stable crew a little bit. A lot easier getting around Elf Town without fall damage. I bet Atomic Frog. Just been jumping off to Wood Elf City after vendoring. Is there not? Oh yeah, I mean, I guess the water's a little bit further away. Will levitate require bat wings? It's a good question. Cannot confirm. Was asking about reagents this week actually. Curious where we go with that. But I wouldn't be shocked if that winds up being the case. Swanee said he tried to make the player stats info more better, and it is in fact less better now. Have you heard of Drama Time from Preach Gaming? They had a Star Stable story on there. No, I didn't hear about that. What's the kind of the summary of it? What is the nature of their story? Gorgonox asks, what's the vision for Fighter in the future? They sound like a blast, but sounds like they struggle with aggro and have far fewer tools. I'm not sure why a little extra DPS would make up for that. Do they struggle to retain aggro? I don't know. Like there's plenty of stuff that I will direct you to other people on the team for. We were just talking about this earlier today, and it sounded like they were able to maintain aggro really well. That might even maybe too well sometimes. Okay, so chat's kind of those of you asking questions again, I'm gonna hit the follow thing again so you guys can see it. Nick has started streaming, and he's the one doing the work on class design and abilities and just like, and so he's the point person for, I would say, the majority of those questions. Other people on the team naturally can answer questions, but hit him up if you see him in a stream. And if you don't see him in a stream, I need to figure out why I have to click every button 3 times on my stream deck now. If you don't see him there, then hop into Discord. I don't know why I was taking so long to get those words out. What's up, a C-Jack? Let me click it again and again. That's the 3rd time. Is it a setting? Did I click some weird setting that requires me to push a button 3 times? All right, so Acceptable says, so Drama Time is about just random MMO stories people have. For Star Stable, they had someone who would run 5 accounts and report/threaten them to win races. And then learned this person was known to do this in the community, so told them to F off and sub to the bully in a way when they were a kid. Then they learned there was an ERP problem in game. Yeah. Cannot confirm, but yeah, there's in all fairness to the company, they do a lot to, they have a lot of tooling and stuff to try to manage that, but kids on the internet, dude. If you have kids, I'd recommend they not be on the internet. That's it. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. Do you have a delay between them? Not that I know of, but I'll take a look. Is it set to long hold? Let me try again. No. And I swear it just started happening. I didn't. But I didn't update it and stuff. I don't know. Water shots. Takeaway for devs. This suggests the engine needs shader pre-compilation or async PSO management on Windows because the smoothest we see under async Vulkan proves the GPU/CPU can keep it up. The hitching is entirely compilation stalls. I saw that you posted that on Discord as well, right? I've already copy pasted that to our tech guys. It's a very good story for the game / company for Star Stable, and the kid learning a good lesson that this was just a funny ending. None of the ERP stuff was talked about. Oh, okay. What's up, 12th Night? Yeah, they've, like I said, not to harp on it, but they take that stuff pretty seriously and have some pretty decent systems in place for that. Kids are creative though, man. Unity allows you to pre-cache shaders as well. Maybe search the biggest offenders. We've got, I'm fairly certain. Let me double check. I've mentioned it before, but just in case. Don't want to. Don't want to dox anybody if they. Scrolling down, new people. Yeah. Okay. He mentions it here. One of our new programmers actually worked at Unity for a number of years, so that's, I think we're learning some stuff there as well. And of course, there's Zillith. Zillith said, at the moment, the majority of shaders are not being pre-compiled, but as I noted in Discord, I'll configure some of that before the next playtest. There you go. Trade skill designer spot is filled with our wonderful Rift. Folks on the server are very excited that we're 2 minutes past the playtest end date time. Mr. Cottleshire said, do you need an idea guy? I know a guy. Hey, okay, Striker. Striker said, charming on its own is super powerful as it is, but reverse charm kiting is a way too overpowered. This process is where you use a group of mobs to beat your charm pet close to death, super fast, break the charm, finish it off for experience, rinse and repeat. This allows bards to solo raids obnoxiously fast over and over. I will. I'm gonna, you know what? Rather than even tell you to take this somewhere, I'll just do this. And because it's, you know, it may be a known thing, it may not be a known thing. I'll send it over to Nick. There you go. Sardokus, I appreciate your enthusiasm and attempt, but your attempt did not work this time. Merrick said this was a great test session. Hey, thank you. Hey, we love you too. What's up, Carzette? Hippie Trippy says, game's still on, but I gotta poop. What do I even do? Yes. Yes. This is a no judgment zone. Yeah, the the veterans are. Are you new here? The veterans will tell you exactly what you can do. Humjum, what's going on? Wanted to send my appreciation for another great playtest. Thanks for the hard work, everyone. We will pass it along, and we appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you're able to get in and play. And thanks for the follow, Hippie Trippy. Old Milkbagger says, yeah, I usually post silly / stupid jokes. Hey, I can appreciate that. But this test has been amazing. I had a few days off, and this transported me in a way I haven't felt since 1999 when I was a young lad. That is awesome to hear. When populating the sewers with mobs, shockingly huge zone. Before EA. French fried taters, thank you for the follow. Tater said, I'm a new player. I never played EQ. I struggled real hard at first, but I reached out to the community, Sean, Nick, and others. Now literally I'm cruising. Shout out to the team, community, and Discord. This is my favorite new MMO. It can be done from someone that never played EQ. Thanks, Robot. Hey, thank you, Taters, for being here again. Heard Eminem's going to sell socks in our merch store for this reason. We will have poop socks. We will have poop socks. This is our damn company. If we want to make poop sock merchandise, nobody's holding us back. No one is holding us back. No, they will not come pre-browned. What is wrong with you? Mostly because it's browned on demand. Print on demand. Oh, that's interesting, Waterfall. What is wrong with you? The only reason why we wouldn't do that is because I don't think the print on demand store will allow it. Lemon Jesus, thank you for the follow. Clutch Kids. Clutch Kill Kids. Clutch Kill DS. Yeah, I will eventually get your name right. Just give me a couple more tries. Thank you for the follow. Summer loves water. Which is the largest zone y'all have made so far? Oh, I don't know. Vale seems pretty big. Thank you for the kind words, Agnosis. It is absolutely a labor of love. Literally just a labor of love. Chat about the development of Gates of Discord. Which VOD was that? I would say that was probably Travis McGeethy, Akil Hooper, potentially Ryan Barker. I'm glad that we're your happy place. Can we also get branded poop knives? What in the hell? Now you're going too far, Bagger. Glass Flats is pretty damn big too. Scarwood's also pretty big. Oh man, that was a nice jump for a gnome. We gotta watch that boat. Summer says, a super fun playtest. Thanks, Debs. Hey, thank you for being here. Let me see what's going on with our server. It's just up. Is poop socking real? That is a good question. Poop sock signed by the dev team. I know what you mean there. That is gross. Bitcoin. How much of a population do you need to keep the game profitable? We'll scale the team based on the revenue that we've got, which is based on the population. So that varies. We can run the service and provide customer service with, I'd say, a few thousand. And then it just scales up from there. Essentially every 1,000 or so is an additional team member. I mean, that's a rough way of saying it or doing it, but that's roughly it. And the hope is that it, like, in all honesty, a hope is that we're able to get enough people in to get things rolling, but maybe not everybody at once would kind of be good. Like, slowly grow over time, use that to start bringing people on, which then allows us to make content even faster, which then hopefully excites more people, which gets more people to sign up, and it becomes a snowball. So oh, did we get a warning? 2 million on launch day. That would be something. I don't know that would be good. Funny. It'd be funny. We'd be both excited and terrified. But how about a you know, few thousand, and we'll get going from there. Benjamin said, since it didn't get turned off, we get to keep the game, right? You do get to keep the game. You do not get to stay in the server. Gravecrawler95, thank you for the follow. Soft said, got steel weapons to drop last 10 minutes of test. Can't wait for next round. Oh, you're going to be powerful. You're riding in Night Harbor? Oh no. However, will we clean up? Scarwood was spooky to explore, but it didn't kill you, so I am disappointed. Swanee said, Robot, this merch provider totally has socks. I just checked. No, I know 100% they have socks. They have socks for the poop socks. They have gnome-sized pillows for the body pillows. They've got a beanbag for the ogre body pillow. They've got quest journals, which will just be empty notebooks. There's a bunch of shit that we want to do at the merch store. It's print on demand, but we're going to have fun with it. All right. I am wanted at the West Gate to say goodbye. I will be right back. What did I just walk into? Language. You told you were rioting? We'll riot with... All right. No, not that. $60. Oh, I am spelling the dude's name wrong, obviously. keep in mind, if you use bad language in a disruptive way at the end of the playtest, we still have ways of finding you. Just letting you know. Just Filio, thank you for the follow. As the body pillow, what? The avatar, yes. The person in real life. I don't think they come that lanky. Bint erection. I love it. I said it, and then immediately I was like, that's bent erection. He got me. What a great name. Not in game though. In Twitch, that's a Twitch problem. All right, you guys. See you in November. And that's it. That is our week-long playtest. It's come to an end. Thank you, every single one of you, for coming in and playing this week. We had a lot of people check it out. I don't know. As soon as Swanee fixes the session stats, we'll post the stats. But I think it was like we were at about 7,500 unique players for this week, which is nice. I think the average was about 3,300 per day. Our next playtest will be November 1st. It will be a 10-day playtest. It will, our next playtest, but scheduled playtest. Our next time that you can play, keep an eye out. We're going to have a stress test soon. There's some additional optimizations that have come online, been coded up, whatever you code people say. We've had some really cool changes, I guess is the way I would say it. Market ease, hand wavy, whatever. Maybe one of the tech guys can clarify. But anyways, we got some shit to make it run better. And we want to stress test that as soon as possible. So keep your eye out. We'll have you in soon, before the November 1st playtest. Creedle said, you guys should be super proud of yourselves, at least a little bit cocky. You guys have made and are continuing to make a fantastic game. I haven't been this hooked on a game in a very long time. Just wanted you all to know how much I appreciate the work you're doing. Hey, thank you. We appreciate it. Let's see. Swanee sent over the datas? So, and all this information is going to go in the update that is being worked on right now. We'll get you the update this week. The update is being put together right this very minute. Let me go over into wherever Streamlabs is, because I can't even see it. Hold on. There it is. Let me make this small. Cool. Let me only semi-spoil that image for you. Let me go back to Swan sending me... Okay, he's got these. Okay, perfect. We'll look at these then. MMO with without microtrans, that's just good. Challenging games gonna pop off more than people think. Just my opinion. People are craving this. Like, how many people here? Maybe I should set up a quick poll or something. Maybe that'll work. You know what? Let's just do it loose. Let's just do like numbers in chat. How many days did you guys play out of the 7? Just numbers in chat. I'm curious. A lot of 7s. Oh yeah, Gassy said 1, unfortunately. But it's good. It's good to, honestly, it's good to see some not 7s, right? Because it kind of goes back into our data. You know, the fact that, yeah, cool. Yeah, some 2s and 3s and 4s, and some people not playing at all just to not spoil it. I see that. 5-ish. So that's good, right? Because then that gets into, this is one of the things that I think a lot of people overlook on metrics, is when you look at the concurrent user count on games and you're like, oh, it's, you know, we peaked at what, 1850? I think we had a high concurrent user count on like day 1 of 1850. But that's cycles. And so we had 7,700 accounts over the course of the 7 days. And, you know, I think I've said in the past, the rule of thumb that I've kind of seen work is you take the peak concurrent user count in there, and then you will multiply that times 4, and then you'll get like a rough DAU, and then you can multiply that times 4, and you'll get a rough MAU. So, yeah, I'll spoil this. It's going to be, this is the art for this upcoming. This coming update. So oh yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that Goblin was working on it. Yep. I mean, obviously he worked on it, but like on his stream. What the Heckington? Thank you for the follow. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Love Mobius. All right, so let's go back to looking at our numbers. Caparo, Future 9000, thank you for the follows. How many cities are envisioned for this game total? For 1.0... as many as there are races plus 2, I think. There's Goblin. Yeah, I'm so amped. I couldn't resist. I was so amped on this one, Goblin, that I immediately, as I started putting the update together, I had to make it my background. And so it's as many as there are races plus 2, because we've got all of the racial cities, naturally. Plus, there are 3 human cities. There is Night Harbor, obviously. Then towards the middle of the continent is Terralon. And then on the east coast is East Tim. So, Mooman877, thank you for the follow. Red Viper, same with you. Appreciate it. Just scrolling up, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so we saw everybody's playtime. How about now towns is a good question. Towns are a little more fluid, Strider Dark. So we've added the village of Pinshaw in Keeper's Bite. Know for sure that you'll probably run into Quillport, There may be some deep towns that appear over time, and there may be some towns added over time, depending on how things are going and the size of zones and sort of where there's breaks and stuff. There's sort of the player village that I don't know if you guys are aware of, but there's a island with nothing but player housing on it in Shallow Shoals that you guys will be able to basically lease. That'll be an interesting experiment to see how things go. But player run-ins that you find, and basically like you and your crew or whatever can be the ones that keep the inn in the middle of nowhere, or the tavern on the way to whatever city. We want to make sure that that's happening. That's why we were working on getting these various systems in early rather than later. So I have another question for you. How many people here are new to this type of game? Will Deep Elves be part of early access? Deep Elves are the first module, so the first big update after we go into early access. Average playtime this playtest, 16.6 hours. Corinthia, Kirby, are Deep Gnomes coming into first module as well? Yes. Though they're going to be an interesting case about how best to integrate them into that city. I was thinking about that like today or yesterday. So that'd be an interesting one. That's why I hope you folks advertise the hell of this game and get new players. I think that is a thing. That's a plan for later. What we want to do is get the game up and running and stable and providing, a good service to you guys out the gate. And then we'll look and see how much it spreads via word of mouth. Word of mouth has been very good to us so far. A lot of people are saying didn't play EQ but played other games. So how many people fall into that bucket? Like a simple me is fine as well. Stimulus Delta, thank you. Jubilica as well, RuneScape. A decent number of me's in here. I don't know how many people are in here. Let me look. 286, nice. Yeah, so I mean, low percentage of me's, but I also think a lot of people are lurking. Should I? You know what? Maybe we'll do another. Hey, Criddle, thank you for the follow or for the raid. Maybe we'll do another survey in Discord soon to kind of ask people what games they sort of started on or played or whatever. Criddle, appreciate the raid. Thanks for all the streams. Really cool. Super nice to see the streams up all week. Nop15, thank you for the follow. Agnosis said I went from Ultima Online to Vanilla WoW. Kind of a weird jump. No, not at all. Quick sound of the question was trying to get a feel for how many people have never played a game like this, and then a lot of people were just saying never played EQ but started playing that. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that makes it. Who didn't play EQ? So that was. I'm always like interested to see people that, basically came here from WoW or Final Fantasy XI's a neat one. Preservation Enthusiast says, just got here, but I played EQ casually and then started with Mythic and Kezmai's Muds. I worked with a couple guys that worked on the old Kezmai stuff. Good people every single time. That'd be an interesting poll on Discord. Yeah, we ran one a long time ago. I think it's about time to run it again. How many of you are actually active on our Discord and will do polls? Just like type 1 in chat if you're somebody that will do this in a poll on Discord, and maybe we'll get it set up. Cool. So there'll be some engagement there. I thought we had done one before. We'll do another one since we've got new people. We'll run it for like a week or 2 weeks, Dozakar. So just keep an eye out. Because again, I think a lot of people just assume where our players are coming from, and I don't think their assumption's right. So, seen a lot of new faces in here. That is awesome. Yeah, I would like to say that we're super sad when the servers come down. We typically are. We enjoy having you guys in and playing. We're hitting a point where like the EA is over the horizon. It's coming up. And the focus is just on making sure we're getting all the stuff in for November that we want to get in, because that's, you know, I'm not going to say it's the last playtest before EA. We've designated Q1 as when we want to go into EA, but we try to push our limits a bit, and we are kind of, I think you guys have seen that we like to under promise and over deliver, and we want to try to maintain that habit. We want to focus on January, and so the hope is that, especially now that we've had such a stable playtest, we want to, no, I didn't say January 1st. The hope is that things were stable enough. We've got improvements coming up, that we're in a decent position to look at that, but we'll see. There's a lot of stuff on the content side, and there's a lot of polish items, and you know, there's just a lot of stuff to do even on the service side in terms of just making sure that we're ready to go with regards to payments and everything else. That we've got a lot to look at over the next 3 months, 4 months counting this month. Yeah, no, we haven't set anything up to sell the soundtrack, but we've talked about fun ideas for later. Sandy Pass says the only thing that worries me right now is performance client-wise, FPS. I mean, yeah, we're going to continue to look at that, and those are the things that we can, you know, we just basically run an audible on it and see. Is it where we need it to be? Is the min spec as good as it could be? And I mean, we're just gonna be honest with you guys, right? Like, the goal with these playtests is you see what's going on, and so if you're seeing something, we're seeing something, we talk about it, then it's right. Then it's not like we're promising you dates for some crazy shit. We're going to do all this craziness. And then we get close and we're like, oh no, we couldn't do the craziness. Like we're being pretty practical about like what we're trying to get done. and we'll just tell you like, hey, we're really shooting for it, but we didn't hit like that. I don't know, like you said, the performance on the client or something that we are wanting to hit. Well, Kuso, thank you for the follow. Do we sleep properly? Do we make ends meet financially? I hope everybody is. Right? Like, if anybody on the team is not sleeping properly or making ends meet, then we need to talk more. You know, it's up to the individuals to, we're not trying to push anybody. This game is the most open develop I've seen. Been fun following along. I appreciate it. We figured the more open we are, the less you can call bullshit on us, I guess. Like, if we're just being open, you can't be like, oh, they're trying to be sneaky. This game's so immersive, I didn't even have anything up to on my second monitor the entire time. Nice. So yeah, like, we're just going to continue to be transparent with you. We want to be more transparent, actually, as we go into early access. If you guys aren't aware of it, we've talked about this before. It's on our website, actually, right? So if we hit FAQ, and then we click this, and then we go here, and then we scroll down. When we talk about like development costs and post-launch plan and stuff like that, it may not be interesting to everybody. It may not seem important, but like, we want to provide this level of transparency so that when you know, as the game is in early access, numbers are going to go up, numbers are going to go down. And we want to be able to speak to that so nobody freaks out and it's like, oh, there's a shitload of people and they taper off or whatever, what's going on, dead game, blah, blah, blah. Like, we'll be able to speak to all of that in fairly real time. Tell you where we're spending our money, what's important to us in terms of, like, you know, how we're bringing people on board, what we're outsourcing or not, all that shit. So, yeah, so I mean, you can call us what you want, but you can't say that we're hiding anything. Goblin says I sleep just on the wrong end of the day-night cycle. Yeah, he's actually on our hours, which is neat as a Euro folk. What was the 5-second delay when opening my bank? Dragon, when was it? Was it the whole time? Or was it when we had a ton of people in the zone? Or played a few MMOs, was always annoyed at the company's PR speak, cryptic approach to game data. It made it difficult to trust them. Appreciate the transparency. Well, it sucks when you work at the company too and they do the same shit internally. Bank was extremely laggy. Watch that. I think our guys were talking about that, actually. I think our guys are talking about, I think Chip and Ollie and Ganik were talking about that. So one of the reasons why we want to be so open with the information is so that you feel like it's worth investing your time in a long time. Because if we can be open with the information and explain the data to you so that you understand why we still have confidence or where we're seeing problems or whatever, and we're delivering on our dates as well as we can, and hopefully that is what I mean by that is we're doing a good job of hitting our dates, then the hope is that you guys will stick on board for the journey from early access to 1.0, and then you're able to play the entire, 1.0 continent of Aetheryl, and it's badass and big and all that. Where do you actually personally see problems? I don't see problems, but where the biggest areas of risk are that we're talking about a bit is not as much like down here at the. We know that we're a hard game to get into, and there's going to be some stuff that we'll do with the first time user experience that will try to address. But our game's going to be hard to get into. We know that. Even when we improve things. But for the rest of these numbers, we see that people, it's pretty sticky once you get past this early point, right? Like that's about 1,300 people out of 7,700 for playtest. That's not bad, right? Like these are decent numbers for a game that's in early access, not even in early access. It's just like a playtest before early access. You guys are investing a hell of a lot of time knowing that these characters are going to be wiped, so it must be sticky. The thing that we've got to look at is how do we make sure that the progression feels good? 1 to 60 feels engaging and keeps you going. That it's not, you don't just like burn through it unless you're like one of these crazies over here that there's some people you're never going to be able to slow down. I was with a group on a TLP and we recreated a thing they had done. Like Nick's done this before as well. Like we actually, it was with some guys that had done it before with Nick. Like we did levels 1 to 50 on a brand new TLP without external assistance in under 24 hours. Right. So that's one of those things that's like, but of course we had experience potions and stuff like that. And so there's always going to be that, but for the folks that are really want to embrace the journey and like play, air quotes, I don't even want to say normally play, and the more just like enjoy the journey, we want to make sure that the milestones are there, that it feels good, that we've got enough content for you distributed across those ranges. Somebody was asking up there, UKator, I believe halflings should be able to start in Fail and Draw next playtest. Some more tooltips. Yep, that's part of the first time user experience. But again, we don't want to ruin the engagement that you have with other players at low levels, but we definitely want to provide a little bit more guidance. There, somebody asked a question about content. And so, yeah, we want to make sure that there's enough content. And we've got a lot of like more nooks and crannies and places to put stuff, but we're going to be running through in the next weeks, looking at these things, looking at like camp distribution and making sure that there are enough camps at each of the level brackets and stuff. Yeah, like I said, in terms of when people are just gloomy, when people are blasting through content, that I think for the people that are really pushing hard, we do have some things in store for them that you guys haven't seen, zones you haven't seen that are at the high end. But then there's also, I think a part of that's probably going to also be about gearing up, where you've got a little less control. It's not just about brute forcing. It's about like getting the right drops, right? And that's going to be a bit of RNG and time investment as you're getting into the higher levels. So, yeah, so, and we'll be sneaking in more mini dungeons. Don't worry. Yeah, EA will be on new servers, so new tunes. Taters said, I banged my head against a lot of the lack of tooltips and stuff coming from a new player, but the more I played and figured it out, the more I felt rewarded. And I think that's what made me stick personally. This game feels like an accomplishment for new players after a while. I see what they're going for, and in turn, I've been able to answer some new questions myself, and it felt very good. That is really, I know a lot of people online think that's bullshit. I read your stuff. I get it. It is a delicate formula to balance. See ya, Moo Man. I understand that, we've just got to kind of figure out the right balance there. But I also hear a lot of people, obviously we've got stats. We know that people churn. Clearly we have people churn. I think we're at like 37, maybe close to. I don't want to lie, but I think we're at like over 30,000 registered accounts, and had 7,700 unique accounts play this playtest. Had daily, I think average unique users was like 3,300. And so, you know, we know that a certain number of those people have churned and may not come back. I think there will be a certain number of people that get frustrated and churn, but see everybody else that stayed and still having fun and be like, shit, I'm going to check it out again. It's kind of like, I don't know, the Tarkov syndrome. And, you know, so it's going to be, that's going to have some pull. There's people that, you know, churn, but they saw enough and they want to come back for EA. A lot of, we've seen that a number of times where people said that. What we did see was this number day to day, this 5 to 29 minutes, so 0 to 29 minutes, this number stayed pretty consistent day to day and got a little bit smaller as people went into 30 to 59. This middle area, what we found was it built up big, and then more and more people kept pushing through. So in terms of like KPIs, I don't know if you're a games product manager or producer or whatever, and you're looking at this and you think I'm giving a false narrative or whatever, feel free to hit me up with DMs and tell me where I'm wrong. But like, I will say that looking at our stickiness and stuff, our stats are, I would be happy for this level of stickiness in a test prior to going into early access for a game where one of the biggest features is playing for quite a while. Like, this is a decent starting point. Not15 said churn data is limited in use until permanent progression is started. Yeah, and it's especially when we're then looking at churn being unsubscribe, right? Because we can have like activity based churn, right? Like sort of that engagement churn, and we can look and see if there's an issue based on engagement. But then it's really going to come down to like, what does our sub churn look like? Providing not a tutorial, but a more engaging start zone than outside the gate. But that's one of those areas where we're not going to do that. Getting into like little tutorial zones and all that stuff, the games add those as their life cycles kind of on the decline, and they're clutching to try to bring in new people or whatever. But we'll look at having the offline tutorial. But once you're in game, we really want you to just be in the world. We don't want to be like, you know, hey, now you're in a tutorial. It's just you're in this world. Outside of the world, we'll provide all sorts of assistance. Like I said, offline tutorial. I think in a day and age of content creation and stuff, that's going to help. You know, and we'll look at tooltips, and we'll also look at like things like making mud actions, the UX and finding it and making all that stuff easier to understand and stuff. Yeah, and forgive me if you bought like an introduction to book and it was some smart ass one-liner in there. I added a bunch of those like 4 years ago. So, you know, if it's like it's a introduction to like astronomy and it says look up. Yeah, that was just me putting in a bunch of placeholder items like 4 years ago, I think. It was only 1 copper. Oh yeah, I think I had them priced at like 1 silver back in the day, and people were getting really pissed off. So Nick or somebody probably fixed that. Only gripe was the XP rate. Once you get more than 3 players in a group, it no longer is efficient. Yeah, we're looking at that stuff. We're going to be looking at a lot of balanced stuff over the next couple of months. Archaeology, you'll dig it. Yeah. Are there plans to add such a book for alchemy, for example, or will I need to ask people how this profession works in M&M? I think getting more of that stuff in, that because we can do it in an in-character way in game. It's not intrusive. You're seeking it out. I think that would be kind of fun and cool to get in. So we'll look at that stuff, Sandy. You love the archer class? That's awesome. Commerce trade skill book. I don't even remember what that one said, but commerce will be a skill that we're reworking and making a bit more in depth. We want to get religion and devotion hashed out and in a good spot. Let's see. We've just got a bunch of stuff. Thank God for spreadsheets and lists and checkboxes and the team that follows them. The comment said I made a pretty penny buying and selling for merchants to players. Yeah, I mean, it'll be really nice when we get a lot of the other stuff in terms of like the consignment boxes and display cases are better and other stuff. So. Don't know if the mud system got better or something. This time I literally had zero problems with interacting with NPCs and guessing the prompt. If it's because you made an elf, then it might be because you made an elf. Lasava and Nicodemus have been doing great work there on that. Lasava has been writing up all the elf starting quests and done a fantastic job with it. So, K-Lorn TV, thanks for the follow. Rewarding newbie quest that teaches you conversation, like the guy tells you how to talk to him basically as you talk to him. I mean, we've talked about some of these ideas. Some of them are hard to pull off and not be cheesy. Some of them are probably doable. I think you may see an evolution in some of that newbie stuff, like random dudes in your guild hall that's got a little bit of sends you here, does of that, says of this. We'll see. I don't want to overpromise on that, but that's also a thing that even during EA, as we're working on new stuff, we'll be refining the old stuff and we'll learn some stuff and maybe we'll make certain systems more robust. So yeah, the elf zone is really beautiful. Like being in there a lot more lately, especially running around doing petitions, has been a blast. Everybody that's been doing work in there has been doing a fantastic job, but especially Bilth, who's just really been heads down for months pulling that zone together, and it's really starting to come together. That's been the effort of Bilth, who doesn't stream, just kind of unsung, quiet in the background, pulling that zone together, and it's really cool. Not Bill. Bilth. Nicodemus is Bill. Bilth is actually a Brian IRL. It's just beautiful. And so like seeing how beautiful Evershade has become, and then picture it, like looking at the concepts and stuff that we've been doing for Aelvarith, the Deep Elf City. The Deep Elf City and surrounding area is going to be pretty cool. And in the update that's coming out this week, you'll start to see some sneak peeks at a dungeon that's near there. And some updates to Deep Dunes, which is actually a Cave of Aram. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. Yeah, if you've been checking out Goblin streams, you've probably seen some concepts and stuff that are going around. We're gonna keep kicking stuff around and figure that out, but we're gonna lock that down in terms of like, let's knock out some next steps this week. So, is it Evershade or Evergrove? The original name was Evergrove. We need to update the data. It was originally Evergrove. It is Evershade Weald now, and then the city is Phalandraw. Will goblins always start in Night Harbor? They'll eventually have their own city as well. Underdocks is... No, it's not much larger. Oh, over under on Deep Elf City being much larger than originally planned. With us, yeah. We'll see. We're gonna try to keep it tight and get it done. If the early drop off, like if the 0 to 4 and the 5 to 29s are the people that, because we started you away from your guild hall, but you had to walk to it. If they're quitting because of that, I think that's acceptable. Like if these two bars are basically people who quit because we didn't start them in front of their guild or in their guild, personally, I think this loss is acceptable because I feel like it's partially a factor in this stickiness. John thinks early drop off is competition for mobs. Maybe. I don't know if that's true. I mean, we all have our like our favorite assumptions. We can dig into some of that. But I was on the EQ team, so I'm fairly certain this is a true story. But I'm fairly certain when EQ first came out, you did not start directly in front of your guild master. And then because I remember conversations where we then moved you in front of your guild master. Because we were looking to see how many people actually did their first quest, and then we moved people in front of their guild master, and they still didn't find their guild leader. They still didn't turn in the note. Like we were looking at the data. Because they would spawn there, and the same people that, like, I think these guys 0 to 29. Well, I mean, it's also just like they didn't know how to open their note necessarily. They didn't know the name was on the note. They didn't know how to give it, right? And so they're all fair. Like these are all fair things. And then as the game got older, naturally, and there were fewer people or whatever, because the cities weren't relevant. The cities weren't relevant, and so there was nobody to even ask. And the cities were so not relevant by the time Planes of Power was coming around that everybody complains about the books. But the reason why the books went in was not to teleport you from city to city, because there's nobody in the cities. There's no point. The books were to teleport you to the plane of knowledge so that you could actually see other people, because a lot of people were coming in to an MMO and not seeing any other people at all, ever, and quitting. And so it was meant to create a consolidation of players so that you could see it. So anyway, is Eminem the Dark Souls of MMORPGs? It's funny when people say that. You know what? If that was a meme, that'd be helpful. I think that's good marketing. I don't think we are, but hey. Arcanal Madness, thank you for the follow. MMOs have a huge problem with the worlds becoming too big. I don't know that it's because that it's putting a value statement on. Also, sorry, I'll get back to that. That's putting a value statement on the size. I think the problem is the worlds get too big and spread people out, and they often don't retain value in the existing world in the right way. Goblin said also a ton of people are missing the new player guide. I talked to Nick about a possible solution. Oh, on the way in or something? I could probably picture that, but if you want to talk to the rest of us, I will make sure that it doesn't get forgotten. But I'm sure Nick will pass it along. Banana Bojangles and Iron Dad Games and SKLFG, thank you for the follows. Yeah, that's the thing, Vikanos. The world too big is not the real problem. World becoming obsolete and thinning the population. That is the problem. And so we've been designing our cities with that in mind from the beginning. I think opening the new player guide in game rather than a webpage would be great too. I think that makes sense. I am starving to death. It's 8 o'clock now. It took a long time for the original game zones to become irrelevant in EQ compared to most modern MMOs. This is also true. Hopefully we beat that even. Tell you what, is anybody from the team streaming tonight, right now? Iron Dad Games asks, is there an official Eminem creator program? No, I mean, we appreciate that people make content, but we're not going to do anything to. Yeah, that has maybe the feeling that we're manipulating the content creation or whatever. Like, I'm not expressing it right, but basically, we want to support all of the people who are doing content creation, as long as they're being nice to us. If they're being mean, then we still support you, but we probably won't spend a lot of time with you. We'll just hang out with Quados. Yeah, because we want you guys to remain objective. I say it's like if people want to play the game and stream the game and stuff, and they want to like say whatever shit, it's their stream. They absolutely should, and be objective and buster balls or whatever it is. I think that's fine. Just be cool in game. As long as you're being cool in game, that's great. We hang out in so many different streams that like we're always popping in and lurking and checking out different streams. It's always fun to kind of get a like point of view or whatever. So yeah. Is it Rouge? The second part I should be able to pronounce, but like every once in a while I just can't talk when I'm streaming. Magi. So the Rouge Magi. Those two together are gonna throw me. You know what I mean. Rug Magi. Thank you for the follow. So Eminem OST on Spotify. Robert wants to essentially complete a specific chunk of music before it gets put onto Spotify as that chunk. So until then, you can just listen to the playlist and support YouTube. They're struggling. They need the views. Preservation enthusiast, thank you for the follow. When most of the players are max level or not in the early levels, how are you supposed to level up in a game like this? Which new groups? I'm actually very curious about that since I didn't play EQ at launch at all. There's going to be we're pushing a strong culture of alts, and there'll be a certain amount of altage and mudflation and stuff that'll help with that. And then also we're trying to, with high-end players, it's less about sending them out to a new continent to live on or to the moon to never come back from or planes that they never exit. And it's more about sending them out on adventures and having them come back to the cities. Yeah, we are absolutely not encouraging third-party tools. Yeah, that's why we every once in a while we'll slip and say starting city, but it's not. That's why we try to say racial cities. And that's why the housing and guild housing and the way the merchants work and there are dungeons in the areas that you've been playing with. There's dungeons you don't know about yet that we've already looked ahead to. There's high end content in the zones that you've been around in. I mean, there's a floating citadel of death above you, right? Like, spoiler, there's stuff around and hidden and under and so you'll go out to places and come back, and then, you know, I mean, there's a crashed citadel in Glass Flats. FFS. The Friendly Citadel of Death is actually in it. We haven't done that region yet. Yeah, so I saw that Zach, you said that it'll be 30 minutes or so. I'm probably gonna wrap up here. I'm 3 hours deep and it's about dinner time. But I do maybe the Floating Citadel of Death is just really misunderstood. That would be very 2025. Found so many new things this time that I walked right by in previous tests. You got to get into the sewers more. That'd be cool. Yeah, and we're going to be adding more and more stuff in there. Like, Night Harbor is definitely not complete. And there will be more stuff in Zur. We're going to continue to flesh out the Califrey region. And then we're going to be bringing the deep zones online. And then we're going to be moving to our next region for the next module after that, Module 2. We'll talk about that more, probably in not too distant future. And there'll be more little mini dungeons that appear in different places, and we want to get more hidden kind of stuff in there. If you watch Quatos's 10-hour epic search for a certain area, you'll see what we mean. So that's just, how do we feel about the current TTK? It feels like we're blowing mobs up a 1 through 20 range. More conversation on that on future streams, and I think Nick will probably cover that as well in future streams. Be sure that you've got notifications on for streamers in Discord. I don't know what it sounds like on your end, but my mouth's all dry. It sounds like making weird sounds. But follow here for Nick and the other streams, and also just keep an eye on our Discord. There will be stats published as part of the update that I'm working on. We'll get that out to you. Yeah, a mini dungeon shows up only during sandstorms and has a legally distinct theme song within. That would be fun. Christina Moonvibe said my group had fun in a spider mini crypt. Beautiful. That's one of the OG mini dungeons. We need an underwater dungeon deadline. It's funny you say that. Keep your eyes open. Little sunken mini. Monster Mansa, Gruff Candor, thank you for the follows. Yeah, I'm going to be not happy with the underwater dungeons, but yeah. Why are dust storms popping off inside dungeons? That is atrocious. We'll keep working on that. I am so sorry. Which dungeon was it? Telekir? Because it's outdoors. It's outdoors. But maybe it doesn't need sandstorms, maybe. I think that might be fair. It should rain blood. Jance, thank you for the follow. Atrocious. Okay, guys. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to thank you all for the playtest this week. I'm going to be back on Wednesday to do just a normal stream. Those of you that are new to the streams here, we I kind of sort of work on some stuff while talking to you guys. We've got a lot of stuff that we don't want to show you lately, so I won't be working on any of that stuff, so you can be surprised in game. But we really, really, really appreciate everybody being super cool this week. Minimal, like the petitions were chill. There are some, people worried about kill stealing in camps and stuff, but for the most part, it was misunderstandings. You guys, I could see in OC, you guys were helping people nonstop. It was beautiful. Thank you for playing and all the support. We've got a playtest on November 1st coming up. Love you, Hashpipe, and we'll catch up soon. And again, thank you, all of you guys. Usually at the end of a stream, we'll say goodnight to everybody, but it's going to be hard on this one, I think. So I will say goodnight to you guys so I don't miss anybody. I feel really bad. Wednesday we'll say goodnight normally. Usually we just say everybody's name and stuff, a little like the Waltons. But again, thank you guys. Like I said, keep an eye out. Be in our Discord. Get your notifications set up so you can watch folks work on art. You can you'll see character art, environment art, concept art, maybe environment art. I don't know if Chini's been doing stuff. Harrison hasn't recently because he's just slammed. Who else actually streams it? I don't know, but you'll see concepts, and Nick will be covering a lot of like gameplay stuff and classes and abilities and things, and can answer some of those questions about TTK and plans and things and balance. And then I will just be messing with a lot of like population environments and things like that. Eminem does have a fan art section on Discord. It's the community channel. Lithic, SG Gunner, Darkario, thanks for the follows. But be sure to join our Discord. If you don't want to join the Discord, join our mailing list. We're at like 10,000 now. Yeah, we're at 10,000. I'll send out a notification when the update goes out. Like I said, the update will go out. The update will go out this week. We're working on it right now. And it'll have some more playtest stats and stuff like that. And we'll get those posted in Discord probably as well. So thanks again, guys. Keep an eye out for a stress test. It's going to pop up. We have new optimizations already that weren't in this one that we want to try on you guys. And we're probably going to do a brutal stress test maybe. Nick's been pushing for it to be pretty brutal, so we'll see. And that's it. All right. Cool. I'm not gonna raid or anything. I apologize. I'm just gonna close up shop here and go eat because I am so starving that I can't think. Right? Later, guys. See you in Discord. Be nice. Where is Streamlabs? In the button. There it is. Okay, guys. See you.